Well, hello, this is Gmodism Total Knowledge channel here, and now I have gotten the request 3 times in the latest couple of weeks to make a parenting tutorial, and it's really easy, so I might as well make it. How to use a parenting tool. Parenting tool. This is the multi-parent and multi-unparent tool. There are different parenting tools, but this is the one I use. If you want to find the download links for this, it is in my Steam collection that I have made and put on to... I'll link it down below as a link to forum, and you find a multi-parent and unparenting tool there. You will also need WireMod to use parenting tool efficiently. Anyways, what is parenting? Parenting is basically the super weld that doesn't create any glitching or moving part. It's just a stable hull. And the thing with parenting is you can't interact really with the objects that gotten parented. So that is why I just spawn a parented, you can see. This car is made of many props, but still you can see it's pretty solid. But you can see when I dip it down here, you can see the whole chassis thing is just, one entity. You can't collide with, you see, this parented thing. All these parented things, I can walk straight through the parented props. But they don't cause any lag. So when people build like tanks and mechs and cars with maybe between 100 and 2000 props, there are builds with that many props, it would lag the hell out of the game, if you excuse my language. If you would use welds. So using parenting really decreases the amount of strain put on the server. Now you may parent any prop. There are some different ways to do this. I'll just spawn the same entity. There are some different ways to do this. So if I would have, parenting is usually you parent to one prop and you can parent many things to it. I will show the best way to parent first. What you want to do is you go to gates here, wire gates, and you just choose a pretty big model just so you can see it easily. It can be any small model. And you want to have parent checked to this. So this gate is parented to this plate. Now, we want to put on kind of props that look cool. Now we will use the same props, so, but we just put them here, you see. Because you see, you place this little gate, wire gate, you place it on your base prop. Then you take the parenting tool, and there are some different settings here. If your vehicle has welded parts, if I have welded this before, like this, if I welded this, then I of course want to remove that weld when I do the parenting, usually. Then I just click this remove constraints and it will remove all those stuff. No collide, you don't need to check this. This is just a no colliding point between the entities just to make them safe. It's better to just area copy, which is included in the tutorial of Advanced Duplicator 2. Anyways, weld adds a weld as a well. This is usually not needed. It's only useful for very specific cases, so basically just ignore this. Disable collisions. Well, that is for most of the cases. You probably just want to disable collisions because they will be decorative props, because the the parented props, you know, they won't work very good. Anyways, I can just show you here. We have another prop on top here. And we take, left click on this one, then it's selected. Then we right click on the gate we want to parent it to. Well, then we go to disable collisions. Then we can take this prop, and this prop, we can select as many as we want, and we paste it, right click to parent it. If you have decorative props, like when you are making a chassis for a car, you probably want to set weight. Then it sets the weight to 0.1 and makes them super light, basically, so that it won't make the structure more heavy than it should be. However, if you are making armor for ACF armor, or if you maybe use DuckTech or any other damaging thing that calculates on weight, you should not click in set weight, because then it basically destroys the prop HP. Okay. Disable shadows. So if you think the shadows look weird, now I don't use very many shadows, but if you think they look weird, you can just remove them. So now you can see I can stand on this, but I kind of fall through. This is why, even though it's, you see, it kind of doesn't really work, so you might as well disable collision altogether, and it might save you some headache if you just, it's easier. If we take our weight tool here, we can see this is 200, this is 200, this is 200, and this is 0.1 because that's the one we set weight. Now, a little interesting thing about parenting is it really messes up the weight of things. You see, as I showed you here, this is 200, this is 200. These are the same, so the mass point should be in between of those. But it doesn't work that way, really. When you parent things, their weight disappears, so even though it should tip over to the right, it tips over to the left, because this is the only physical prop. The base plate is now the only real physical prop, and the other ones, you can see, we can just walk through them like this. They don't cause any lag, and, they contribute with mass, but not weight. So actually having, when you parent your armor on a tank, it might, it doesn't affect the strain on the axles and the suspension of the vehicle. So you can have really heavy armor plates on your stuff that doesn't really affect the vehicle's capabilities. However, ACF calculates against this, so that it does calculate the weight from the point of the engine, so the engine will still calculate the parented props as weight. And now I will show you why you want to parent it to a wire gate. Now let's parent 2 more props, or just one, doesn't actually need very many. We'll just take 2 there, go to the parenting tool, we don't need a set weight, but we click this and parent those to the base plate. Now this also works, it works fine, but there is, you can do this, but there are some downsides. One downside is, if we go to material or a color, now you can see we can still click this, but sometimes you can see now we can't hit them from that side. That's so weird. However, it actually depends on, like, sometimes, okay, basically sometimes you can still apply material and colors to props that have been parented to another prop, but if you have parented the prop to a gate, you can always apply color and armor and change settings and weights of them easily. But if they're parented to a prop, it's a gamble if you can change them or not. It's usually getting worse after you copy the thing with advanced duplicator. Also, if it's not parented on onto a gate, ACF will not understand that the prop is actually an armor piece, and it won't even calculate the armor, so you will be defenseless. So for ACF, you really need to parent to gates. But also, if you parent everything to the same gates, it's really easy to, parent new stuff to it. And of course, there is the unparenting tool, and you just select all the props you want to unparent, and then right click, and then you can, remove those things. However, if you have, let me show you instead. If we do like this, we copy this thing here, and we paste it, the parented with data area copy. Well, we can just remove those, and I now would unparent more things from this saved object. You see, I can't move these props anymore. Even though they're unparented, you actually can, they're frozen in the air, so that's annoying. So you might need to remove them. Or if you want to rearrange them, you might do like this. You copy the whole structure again, then you can move the prop again that you couldn't move in this build, and then you can fasten it with a new parent. Or if you only want to move it a little bit, you can take the precision tool and you can click the push and pull buttons or whatever. Many ways, oh yeah. And that works for that you can't move with the Fuscan either. So that's, that's cool. So I hope this answers all your question you have about parenting. A little recap. Find the parenting tool in the description that I use. Multi-parent, multi-unparent. This is GB Radial. The map is Gmodism, a nice desert map. And yeah, I have fast selection, but multi-parent, multi-unparent. Remove constraints. It doesn't hurt to have that checked. You should probably anyways remove constraints. Disable collision is wise. Set weight should be checked for decorative and car chassis and stuff like that. If you make armor, do not click check set weight. And parent to a gate that is set to be parented to the entity you place it on, basically. So that's that. I basically hope this covers all your questions about parenting. Aside from parenting, now when I'm, on this anyways, I'm building a DuckTech mech, and it's not done, but this is the chassis I have been working on. Nothing is really fastened yet, but I think it's going to be a pretty cool light mech. Anyways, see you around. Gmodism Total Nerd Channel, signing out.